It was a crisp evening when I walked into the ballroom, the sound of laughter mixing with the clinking of champagne glasses. The bride, glowing in her white dress, didn't see me slip in through the back door. I took my seat at the table, watching her talk, not knowing I was the one who controlled the very building she was celebrating in. Kay, I never expected to be at my brother's engagement party, not with everything that had happened. The bride had always made it clear how she felt about me, the stinky country girl from nowhere. I was fine with that, or at least I thought I was, until that night when everything changed. The venue for the party? My hotel. I didn't need to boast about the empire I'd quietly built, but I sure was going to let her learn that lesson the hard way. The chandelier above casts a soft golden glow across the ballroom, its crystals catching the light just so, throwing small rainbows across the polished marble floor. The laughter of guests echoes in the space, but it's not the sound that fills the room. It's the weight of the night, of the expectations, of the eyes on the bride, her perfect smile, her dress that shimmers in the light. She's glowing, in every sense of the word. I stand at the edge of the room, my fingers curled around the edge of my glass. Wilmris moment. The coldness of it grounding me in this moment. The champagne bubbles rise, catching the light, but it's not enough to distract me from the eyes I feel on me. En sana bryzak kontanida that the stenshits by the haras tanars. There's no mistaking it. She's noticed me, the bride. Her gaze flicks across the room, catching mine for a brief, telling second. Her smile doesn't falter, not outwardly, but her eyes just for a moment tighten. It's small, barely noticeable to anyone else, but I see it. I feel it. I'm the one who doesn't belong here. The one she's never quite been able to hide her disdain for. The stinky country girl, that's how she used to call me. The words sting less now, but they still linger, sharp as ever. Cack. Her laughter rings through the room, bright and loud, but it doesn't quite reach her eyes when she speaks to me. The words are there, but they feel hollow. She greets me with a practiced smile, one that seems so perfect for everyone else in the room, yet it doesn't quite fit when it lands on me. Yan, you're looking well, she says, and the words hang in the air. Not because they're heavy, but because they're empty. There's a tightness in her voice, a clipped edge that betrays her effort to appear polite, to pretend we're just two people, with nothing between us. Can I smile back? I smile back, polite, measured, thank you. You look beautiful, I say, my words steady but quiet, letting the weight of the silence hang between us. I don't mention the sharpness of her gaze, the way she always seems to look right through me. The tension simmers just beneath the surface, like the storm that's been building outside the windows. The gentle hum of the conversation around us continues, but I'm aware of every movement, every shift in her posture. Her body language is stiff now, not quite as graceful as it once was when we were younger, when she didn't look at me like I was an outsider. I wonder if she's still the girl who used to mock me, or if something has shifted. I watch her move through the crowd, always just a little ahead of me, always a little too far away. She speaks to people, smiles at them, her laugh filling the air. But it doesn't reach me. I let my gaze wander for a moment. There's something in the air tonight, something thick and heavy that I can't quite place. The ballroom, though grand and beautiful, feels smaller now, more confining. The lights are warm, but they can't chase away the chill that creeps up my spine. She glances back at me once more. This time there's a subtle shift in her expression, almost imperceptible. She can't hide it, not from me. The smile falters for just a moment, and the air between us feels like it's stretching, pulling tighter. Moncayan, my heart beats a little faster now, but I don't let it show. I won't let her see that. Not after everything that's been said, everything that's been done. I've learned how to stand still in these moments, to hide everything beneath the surface, to make it seem like it doesn't matter. But it does. I catch a glimpse of the bride's family, gathered in the corner, speaking in hushed tones, their eyes flicking over to me. I know what they see, the country girl, the one who's always been a little too loud, a little too different, the one who never quite belonged in their world. But they don't know what I've become, what I've built. They don't know the power I hold now, not just in this room but in the city outside. They don't know that the very building they're celebrating in tonight is mine. The sound of a champagne flute clinking against another draws my attention back to the bride. She's standing, her smile widening as she accepts compliments, but something's missing. Something's changed in her, too. She's not the girl I knew, not completely. There's something guarded in her movements now, a quiet distance in the way she holds herself, in the way she watches everyone. The guests continue to mingle, the soft murmur of conversation filling the space, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm watching her from the outside, just as she's always seen me. She looks over at me again, this time with a different kind of recognition. There's no warmth in it, no desire to connect. It's a look that acknowledges the gap between us, one that's been widening for years. It's almost a challenge, though unspoken, and in that moment I realize something. She's still threatened by me. It's not my clothes, not my accent, not my background. It's the fact that I've never let her words or her family's expectations define me. I stand a little taller now, my posture shifting as I take a step forward. The smile that spreads across my face is slow, deliberate. It's not for her, it's for me. She's still holding on to that same narrative, that I'm the outsider, the one who doesn't belong. But tonight, I'm not the girl she used to mock. I'm not the one she thinks she knows. I'm something else, something she'll have to learn to reckon with. I turn away from her, the faintest hint of a smile tugging at my lips, and step deeper into the crowd. Tonight, I don't need to prove anything. The truth will find its way to her, whether she's ready for it or not. The night stretches on, the laughter growing louder, the lights flickering above. But in the quiet corners of the room, something has already shifted. I'm not the country girl she thinks I am, and tonight, the only person I need to impress is myself. The soft hum of conversation swirls around me. I sit at the far end of the table, my fingers wrapped around the stem of my glass, watching, listening. The laughter, the clinking of silverware, the faint rustle of dresses brushing against chairs, all of it feels distant, muffled in a way that lets me see things more clearly. I'm not part of this, not really, but I am here. They don't notice me, of course. I'm just another guest at the engagement party, a quiet presence at the edge of their world. My dress is simple, understated, it doesn't draw attention, and that's the way I want it. The less they see me, the more I can see of them. Her family is gathered around the table, their voices the conversation flowing easily as if they've known each other for years. They talk about their businesses, their investments, their homes in the city, their plans for the future. It's all so polished, so perfect. They don't even glance my way, and that's fine. I'm used to being ignored. It's what they expect from me, the stinky country girl, as they once called me. They think I'm just an afterthought, a distant relative, nothing more, but I see everything. Brie Flyme and Nevering Crow. The bride's father sits at the head of the table, his fingers drumming lightly against the tablecloth, his eyes glinting as he speaks. His voice is deep, commanding, but it's all too rehearsed, too practiced. His words dance, but they don't reach his eyes. He talks about his business ventures, the new developments in the city, dismissing the rustic charm of my upbringing with a flick of his hand. It's not overt, not loud, but it's there, beneath the surface. I feel it in the way they speak, in the subtle dismissals that they don't even realize they're making. And the hotel they're talking about, the one that's just a little too far from the city, is mine. Now, I own it now. They don't know that yet. The Peterbesseries to Moff. They don't know that the place they're so eager, and Firkenhemfer per oct, to dismiss is the very place they're standing in. The thought almost makes me smile, but I don't, not yet. I take a slow sip from my glass, the cool liquid sliding down my throat. The room feels warm, almost stifling. Their conversation continues, but I'm no longer listening to the words. I'm watching the way they sit, how they cross their legs, how their fingers curl around their glasses. The small movements, the subtle gestures, are the things that tell the truth, and I'm learning more about them with every passing second. I glance around the room, my eyes briefly catching the bride's mother's gaze. Her smile falters for just a second, and then she looks away, back into her glass, as though I hadn't noticed. But I did. I always do. Her family thinks I'm harmless, a small-town girl who's lucky to be here. And maybe that's what I've let them believe. Maybe that's what I need them to believe. But beneath the calm exterior, beneath the quiet composure I show, there's something else brewing. It's a slow burn, a quiet calculation. I've never told them what I've built, never explained what I've become. The hotel, the business I've grown, the empire I've quietly amassed. It all happened while they were too busy looking down their noses at me. While they were dismissing me as nothing more than a bumpkin, I was building a future they couldn't see. The moment they find out the truth, everything changes. The way they see me will shift. They'll no longer look at me with condescension. They'll see something else, something they didn't expect. And when that moment comes, I'll be ready. The conversations continue, but I don't need to hear the words. I can feel the tension now, building like an undertow. They think I'm still the same girl they've always dismissed, but I'm not. And tonight, they'll learn that. The bride's father laughs loudly, but I don't hear it. I hear the way his fingers tap against his glass, impatient, like he's trying to keep up appearances. He looks past me, his eyes scanning the room for something more interesting. I'm invisible to him, just a shadow in the corner, but I know something he doesn't. At my hotel is the crown jewel of the city now, and the key to it all is in my hands. They think they hold all the power, but they don't know the first thing about true control. I don't need to say a word to prove it. I don't need to remind them that their little world is built on the foundation I hold in my hands. Their carefully curated lives are nothing without what I've created. I take another sip, the quiet hum of the room around me settling into the background. I watch as the bride laughs again, her laughter so polished, so perfect. It's the same laugh I used to envy, the same smile I once wanted to be a part of, but now it feels hollow. There's a quiet strength I carry with me now, one that's been built from the ground up. And in this room full of people who think they know everything, it's my silence that's the most powerful weapon I have. They don't know it yet, but I'm about to show them. I stand up, my chair scraping softly against the floor. The conversations hush for a moment, eyes flicking to me, but no one says anything. No one asks what I'm doing. They don't care. I take a slow, deliberate step toward the front of the room, and the silence grows, stretching in the space between us. I can feel their eyes on me now, but I don't flinch. I hold my head high. I step into the circle, my presence undeniable, and as I do, I smile. Not a smile for them, not a smile for anyone but myself, because they still don't know, and they'll learn soon enough. They'll learn that the quiet strength I carry with me is all I need, and I won't have to say another word, not one. The laughter in the ballroom swells around me, but it's hollow. Evla cast a belong archives, like it's filling a space it doesn't belong in. I sit at the edge of the room, my glass of champagne cool in my hand, bubbles rising slowly, lazily. The room is warm, too warm, but it doesn't reach me. It's like I'm surrounded by a quiet mist that no one else can see, a thin veil that separates me from the world they've created here. I try not to focus on the bride and her family, standing in the center of the room, their voices rising in a steady hum. Her dress, white and flawless, catches the light every time she moves, and for a moment I almost envy how effortless it all seems. They stand together talking, laughing, each one playing their part, but none of them are looking at me. I don't mind. I've never minded being overlooked. It's easier to watch, to listen, to keep my thoughts hidden beneath the surface. But tonight the air feels different. I can feel the weight of their eyes on me, even if they're not looking directly. It's in the way their conversations change when they realize I'm nearby, the way their smiles falter when they catch my glance. I hear snippets of whispers as they pass by, small remarks barely audible. They think I can't hear them, but I can. I always can. The bride's mother, dressed in too much silk, smiles thinly as she speaks to one of her friends. She doesn't belong here, she says, her voice low but sharp. The whole thing is so out of place. I keep my gaze steady, my expression neutral, though something tightens in my chest. I sip my drink, the cool liquid soothing the sudden tightness in my throat. I don't let them see it. I won't give them the satisfaction of knowing it stings. It's just the way they speak, the casualness of their assumptions. They don't know me. They never did. They never took the time to understand, to see that I'm not what they think I am. The weight of their words hangs in the air, but I let it pass, like I've learned to let so many things pass. They think I'll shrink back, that I'll feel out of place. They think I'll shy away from their judgment, from their sneers, but I've never been good at being small. It's never come easily to me. And in that moment, as I sit there at the edge of the room, I feel it. A quiet fire begins to stir inside me, not the kind that burns hot and quick, but the kind that waits, the kind that grows in silence. Their arrogance, their disdain, fuels it. I feel it in the way their words fall on me like dust, trying to settle, trying to make me invisible. But I'm not. I'm here, watching, listening, and remembering every word, every wig, every gesture. I know they expect me to be intimidated. I know they expect me to feel less than them, to cower, to make myself small in their eyes. But they don't understand me. They don't understand that their words only make me stronger. I don't speak to Baya. I don't speak to anyone. I don't have to. The silence is enough. The strength is in the stillness. And I can feel it building, not from anything outside of me, but from within. The bride's laughter breaks the silence, and it sounds forced, like she's trying too hard. I watch her, the way she tilts her head back, the way her eyes flicker toward me for just a moment, or quickly turn. She doesn't know me, not really, and the discomfort in her eyes only sharpens the fire inside me. I wonder, just for a second, if they will ever understand the consequences of their assumptions. Will they ever see how wrong they've been? The night stretches on, and I stay in my seat, listening to the murmurs, the gentle chatter. It's almost like they're trying to keep the noise in the room loud. Enough so they don't have to acknowledge the space that's quietly growing between us. But I'm still here, still watching, still listening. Her mother whispers again, but I'm not looking at her this time. I'm watching the bride, her face tight as she greets another guest. She doesn't seem as radiant now. The smile is still there, but it's different. It's brittle. I wonder if she can feel it too. The growing tension, the quiet weight of things unsaid, building around her, thickening like smoke. I know what they think of me, but it doesn't matter. They can't see what's inside me. They can't see how far I've come or what I've built. All they see is what they expect to see, the girl who doesn't belong, the girl they can push aside. I let their whispers roll off me like water off stone. They're just words, just sounds meant to keep me in my place, but I'm not going anywhere. The fire inside me grows, but it doesn't burn recklessly. It waits. It knows that the time will come when they'll have to face me. Yeah? The party continues, the guests milling around, the music playing softly in the background. But for a moment, everything goes still in my mind. The noise becomes a dull hum, and all I can hear is the quiet crackling of the fire inside me. I stand up slowly, my movements deliberate. I smooth the front of my dress, my fingers brushing against the fabric. The smoothness of it is grounding. My feet move across the floor, soft against the polished marble, but fait part waft against the polished marble. Can't. I know the eyes are on me now. I don't need to look at them to feel it. I'm walking through their world, their perfect curated little party. And for the first time, it feels like the world is shifting. Just a little. As I walk toward the center of the room, I catch the bride's eyes again. This time, she doesn't look away so quickly. She doesn't smile, not like before. I stop in front of her, my gaze steady. The silence between us is thick now, filled with everything they've ever thought of me, everything they've ever said behind my back. I don't speak, I don't need to, and in that silence, I know something they don't. They've underestimated me. They always have, and tonight they'll see that. The sound of the door closing behind me is soft, almost imperceptible. I step onto the terrace, and the cool night air wraps around me, soothing in its silence. The city below is quiet, the lights twinkling like stars caught in a glass jar. There's a breeze, light and gentle, carrying the scent of the flowers growing along the edge of the balcony. It's calm out here, a moment of peace in the midst of everything else. I close my eyes, letting the cool air brush against my face, feeling the tension in my shoulders begin to loosen. This is the space I've been looking for, just a few minutes alone, away from the bright lights and the false smiles. I lean against the railing, the smooth wood cool against my palms. The world seems smaller from here, quieter. But the stillness doesn't last long. I hear footsteps approaching, slow and deliberate, the sound of shoes against the stone floor. I don't need to turn around to know who it is. I already feel his presence, the way it shifts the air around me. My brother. He steps onto the terrace beside me, his silhouette just barely visible in the dim light. For a moment, neither of us speaks. The only sound is the soft rustling of leaves in the breeze. You all right? He asks, his voice low, almost hesitant. I don't answer right away. I feel the question linger in the air between us. It's not the question that matters, not really. It's the way he says it, the way he's standing there, unsure of what to do, what to say. I wonder if he can feel the divide between us, gashamas tween us, and the space that's been growing ever since she came into his life. I glance at him, but my eyes don't linger. I don't want him to see what's in them. Yan, I'm fine, I say, my voice steady, too steady. It's the answer I give because it's the one he expects, not because it's the truth. He kalan. He nods, but there's a tightness in his jaw that wasn't there before. I see it in the way he stands, shifting from foot to foot, like he's trying to find a place to stand that feels solid. He's uncomfortable, and I can't blame him for it. There's a long silence, heavy with things neither of us wants to say. I hear the faint clink of glasses and laughter from inside, but it feels far away, like it's coming from a different world. But this world, the one we're standing in, feels like it belongs to no one. Yeah, I didn't expect tonight to feel like this, he says after a moment, his voice quieter now. I thought it'd be easier. The word hangs in the air, and for a moment I almost laugh. It's not easier. Nothing about this is easy. I take a deep breath, letting the coolness of the night settle into my lungs. Things change, I say, the words leaving my mouth before I can stop them. They're not harsh, not cruel, just true. He doesn't respond at first. I don't look at him, but I feel the weight of his gaze on me. He's waiting for me to say more, but I can't. I'm not the same person I was before, not the person who would do anything to please him, to be the sister he needed. I've changed, and I don't think he's ready to see it. Yeah, I don't know what happened, he says, his voice tight now, unsure. I don't know when things shifted. It feels like we've been drifting apart for a long time. I feel the sharp edge of his words, even though they're not meant to be cutting. I know what he's saying. He's asking me what went wrong, what changed between us. And I don't have an answer for him, not the one he wants anyway. I take a slow step back from the railing, my fingers brushing against the cool stone as I move. I don't know what to say to him. What can I say? I've been holding on to things for so long, pretending that everything was fine, pretending that I could still be the sister he wanted me to be. But I can't. Not anymore. You've changed, I finally say, my voice barely above a whisper. We both have. He looks at me then, really looks at me, and for the first time tonight, I see the uncertainty in his eyes. It's like he doesn't recognize me anymore, so you the first. Like the distance between us has finally grown too wide for him to bridge. I never meant for it to be like this, he says softly. I'd have wanted a run to might have for. I just wanted things to go back to how they were. Yeah. I can hear the guilt in his voice, the ache of someone who doesn't understand how things fell apart. But I can't tell him. I can't explain it to him, not in a way that will make sense. The truth is too complicated, too tangled up in everything that's been left unsaid. It's not just about going back, I say quietly. You can't go back, not when things change. Okay? He opens his mouth to say something, but the words get stuck, caught somewhere between us. Instead, he looks down, his hands shoved deep in his pockets, and I see it, the quiet frustration that's been sitting just beneath the surface for so long. He doesn't know how to fix this, how to make it right, and neither do I. Yeah, I never thought we'd end up here, he says, his voice tight with emotion. I thought I knew you. Yeah, the words hit me like a blow. He thought he knew me. I wish he did, but maybe he never really did, and maybe I never really knew him either. Yuna, the night air is cool on my skin, but it's not enough to shake the heaviness between us. The silence drags on, long and painful, until he finally steps closer. He doesn't touch me, doesn't say anything else. He just stands there, unsure, lost in the same quiet space I've been holding in my chest. I don't look at him. I can't. I've changed too much for him to see me the way he used to. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, I speak again. I'm not the same person you remember, I say, my voice quiet but firm. Texting you remember, I say, my voice quiet but firm, and neither are you. I don't know if he understands. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but it doesn't matter. We're standing on opposite sides now, and I don't know how to cross that distance. He takes a deep breath, his shoulders sagging just slightly. I guess we'll just have to figure it out, he says, but the uncertainty in his voice makes it clear that neither of us knows how. I nod slowly, but I don't have the words to say anything more. I turn back toward the railing, the cool night air brushing against my skin once more. The city below is still, quiet, a world apart from the tension between us. And I wonder, as I stand there in the silence, if we'll ever be able to find our way back to each other, or if we've already lost something that can't be found again. The door opens behind me, and I know he's going back inside. But I stay where I am, the weight of the night pressing in around me. What happens next? I'm not sure. But I know it's a question we both have to answer. Okay, the night stretches on, each moment passing slower than the last. The air is thick now, not just from the heat of so many people, but from something else, something that can't be named but lingers. In the space between the laughter and the clinking of glasses. The music grows louder, its heavy bass rattling the windows, but I don't hear it. Not really. I'm too caught in the tension that hangs in the air, thick and suffocating. I sit at the edge of the ballroom, my fingers lightly tracing the edge of my glass, the crystal cool against my skin. The lights are too bright, the smiles too wide. I watch the guests, their faces full of excitement, but their voices always just a little too sharp, like they're trying too hard to make everything seem perfect. I don't care for the noise, the silence, the space between them speaks more than their words ever will. And then I hear it. The bride's father standing at the far end of the room, talking to one of his colleagues. He's loud, too loud, his voice cutting through the chatter. I catch a snippet of his words, something about how my family's humble beginnings might explain my discomfort here. There's no mistaking the way his eyes flicker over to me, the unspoken insult in his tone. It's subtle, a passing remark that no one else seems to notice. But I do. I always do. I let the words wash over me, a small sting, but not enough to draw my attention fully. I smile, the edges of my lips lifting just slightly. I don't need to answer him. I don't need to defend myself. I've learned how to play the game better than they'll ever understand. So, I nod in his direction, acknowledging the remark, but not giving him what he wants, not the reaction he expects. Instead, I take another slow sip from my glass, letting the cool liquid slip down my throat. I taste the bitterness of the champagne, and yet I feel the quiet power of the moment settle in. Because I know something he doesn't, something none of them know. The very hotel they're partying in, the space they've claimed as their own for tonight, is mine. The feeling of it is strange, a quiet power that builds in me with every passing second. It's not the kind of power that screams, no, it's far more subtle than that. It's a power that sits, waiting, and right now it's watching them watching him. A cat. I watch him now, his back turned, his body language wide and open. He feels untouchable, confident in his world, in the way he holds court among his guests. But I know something he doesn't. He doesn't own this place. I do. The music shifts, a soft waltz taking over the rhythm, and the guests begin to move. They glide around the floor, stepping in time with the music. But there's something about the way they move now, something about the way they glide around me. Their faces are polite, but I know better. I know what they think of me. I can see it in their eyes, even if they try to hide it behind smiles. Her father, in particular, seems eager to keep his distance. He thinks I'm nothing. He thinks I'm just the country girl who somehow wandered into his world, who doesn't belong in the spaces he's cultivated. He doesn't know how I've built my life, piece by quiet piece. He doesn't know that this hotel is my creation, my empire. They're standing on borrowed ground, and I've let them think they're in control. Yak, a chill runs through me, but I don't let it show. The power that's been simmering inside me for so long is finally starting to settle into its place. I smile again, a smile for myself, because they still don't know. They don't know what I've done, how much I've built, or how easily I could end this charade they've built. The laughter continues around me, but it feels distant now, like it's coming from a different world. They're laughing, they're dancing, they're celebrating a future that feels so far removed from mine, and yet, it's all part of the same game. They think they control the space they've taken over. But I know how to move in silence. I know how to wait. I've been waiting for this moment, for the shift in the air, for the moment when the truth will come to light. I catch her father's eye once more, and this time I don't look away. His smile falters just a fraction, but he quickly recovers, turning his attention back to his guest. But I see it. I see the moment of discomfort, the crack in the veneer. I stand up, my chair scraping softly against the floor. The noise isn't loud, but it's enough to make heads turn. I move with purpose, my steps slow and measured, each one an intentional movement toward the center of the room. I don't need to speak yet, not yet. The room seems to hold its breath. The guests, too, caught up in the spectacle of the evening to notice the shift in the air. But I see them all. I see the way their eyes flicker toward me now, the sudden awareness of my presence as I step forward, just a little closer to the center of the room. The tension is palpable, and I let it hang there for a moment longer before I speak. My voice, when it comes, is quiet, but it carries through the space, slicing through the murmurs of conversation. I'm glad you could all make it, I say, my words slow and deliberate. Her father looks at me now, his face stiffening just slightly. The guests pause, their attention turning toward me. The weight of the moment settles in, and for just a moment everything feels still. I let them feel it. Let them feel the shift. I hope you're enjoying the evening, I add, my gaze locking on her father for just a fraction longer than is comfortable. It's such a pleasure to host you all. He clears his throat, the sudden realization settling over him. The guests are still looking at me, the silence between us, now filled with questions. I don't need to reveal anything more yet, but they'll feel it. They'll feel the quiet authority I hold over this space, over this night. I smile once more, the smile no one can place. The one that tells them everything they need to know, but nothing at all. I turn and walk back to my seat, the weight of their gaze still on me. They don't know what's coming. They don't know who they've been dealing with all along. The night drags on, but the power in the room has shifted, and as the music continues to play and the laughter fills the air, I wait for the right moment, and when it comes they'll understand. Can't. The night hums on, the noise of the party rising and falling in waves like a tide. The soft clink of glasses, the distant murmur of conversations, the faint rustling of silk and satin, it all mingles together into a sound that feels like it's floating just beyond my reach. The grand ballroom is alive with color, with movement, with laughter. Savers playing ends first to store, perturbed, air, but none of it feels like it belongs to me. I stand at the edge of it all, watching, observing. The bride moves through the room with ease, her white dress a beacon, pulling every eye toward her. She laughs, and everyone around her laughs too, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. But I notice the tension in her shoulders, the way she's smiling but not with her eyes. There's something about her that feels fragile, thinly held together by a facade she's desperately trying to maintain. I don't mind it. The distance, the way they ignore me, thinking I'm just a guest in this world they've built. But the smile I hold on my lips is different now, sharper. I don't need to prove anything to them. They think I'm small, but I've learned how to stand tall even when no one is looking. And then the accident happens. A loud gasp cuts through the air, a drink tipping over, splashing against the sleeve of a woman's dress. The sharp gasp of surprise is followed by a sudden flurry of movement. The woman jumps back, clutching the fabric of her dress, her face already contorting into a frown. It's a small thing, a spill, but in a room this polished, this pristine, it feels like the ripple of something much larger. The guests turn toward the commotion, their eyes scanning for the bride. They look to her, as if she's the one who will make everything right. But her eyes, wide for just a moment, tell me everything. She doesn't know what to do. She hesitates, caught between the expectation of perfection and the reality of the situation. It's clear now. Her control is slipping. The weight of all these eyes on her is too much. She's cracking. I don't move at first, my hand still on my glass, but I can feel it. The room waiting for someone to take charge. The bride's gaze flicks toward me, a fleeting moment of recognition, and I know what she sees. Hi, Fies. She sees me, standing at the edge, and she knows I'm the one who holds the power here. Not her family. I set my glass down gently, the quiet sound of the crystal against the table breaking the stillness just enough to make heads turn. I don't hurry, I don't rush. I move across the floor with calm purpose, my steps steady. I catch the eye of one of my staff, standing near the bar. I raise my hand, just a little, and he nods, his expression flickering for just a second, before he moves toward the woman whose dress has been ruined. I don't say anything to him, I don't have to. He's already moving, already taking control of the situation, without a word spoken between us. I watch him as he approaches the woman, his movements quick but graceful, efficient. The woman looks up, startled, but before she can say anything, he's already offering his apologies, already smoothing the situation over, his calm voice steady and assured. He offers to take her to a private area to fix the dress, and in an instant, the crisis is averted. Biawa paitanch. No drama, no fuss. The bride, however, is still standing there, watching. She hasn't moved. Her eyes narrow slightly as she watches the scene unfold. There's no warmth in them, no gratitude. Only a sharp, calculating look, the kind that tries to figure out where the pieces of control slipped away. I turn back toward the table, my gaze drifting over the crowd once more. The laughter resumes, the conversations pick up again, but there's something different now. The crack has formed. I can feel it, just beneath the surface, the unease she's beginning to realize. Slowly, but surely, she's beginning to understand how much power I truly have in this room. The guests continue to sip their drinks, unaware of the small storm that just passed through. But I can feel the shift in the air. The bride's facade has slipped. The cracks are there now, and they're spreading. She doesn't know it yet, but it's already happening. Her sharp glare meets mine across the room. It's brief, but I see it. She wants to say something. She wants to demand control again, but the words don't come. Instead, she looks away, back to her guests, back to the party. But I know. I see it clearly now. Her confidence, the way she carries herself, is starting to fade. And I'm just waiting for it to break wide open. I don't speak to her. I don't need to. Not yet, but in that glance, I've said everything I need to say. I'm not here to ruin her night. I'm not here to make a scene, but I'm here to remind her of something. That power isn't always loud. It's quiet, it's subtle. It's knowing when to let others take the lead, when to let them think they still have control. Camp. Kaffir to camp. The room continues to hum with laughter and chatter, the music playing softly in the background, but the weight in the air has shifted. I stand a little straighter now, my fingers running along the edge of the table, feeling the coolness of the wood beneath my skin. Fell frut and heart. The evening isn't over yet. There's more to come. More moments, more missteps, more cracks in her perfect world. I take a slow, deliberate breath. The night is still young and the guests are oblivious, but I know. She knows. And we both know that the game has just begun. Cack. The music is still playing, but the notes feel distant now, lost in the swirl of voices and the clink of glass. The light is warmer than it was before, but the shadows in the room feel deeper, more pronounced, as if the evening is settling into something darker, something thicker. The bride's smile has started to falter, just slightly. I see it in the way her lips twitch, the way she shifts her weight from one foot to the other. The cracks are starting to show, and I can feel the tension in the air, thickening with every passing moment. I take a slow sip of my drink, my eyes scanning the room. Her eyes flick over to me, just for a moment, but it's enough. She's been watching me all night, and I can tell she doesn't like what she sees. She doesn't like that I'm here, in this space that she's worked so hard to create, in the very place she thought was hers to command. But it's not anymore. Her smile tightens as I speak with someone else across the room, her gaze darting to us, then away. She doesn't need to say anything. I can see it all in the way she holds herself, up spurt and pot, the way she clenches her jaw when she thinks no one is looking. She's uncomfortable, and I've made her uncomfortable. I watch her hands, how she fidgets with her drink, her fingers drumming against the glass, then quickly stilling when someone comes near. The subtle movements, the small signs, they tell me everything. Her discomfort, her unease, they're like a quiet echo, ringing louder and louder the more I pay attention. She's trying to hide it, trying to mask the tension, but I can see through the act. Her words grow sharper with every conversation, the sweetness in her tone slipping away, replaced by something brittle, something forced. She's no longer the confident bride commanding attention. She's becoming someone else, someone who's just trying to hold it all together. But I see the strain, the cracks in the facade. I feel a small shift inside me, a quiet satisfaction that I'm not sure I've earned, but it's there, nestled in my chest, like the first ember of a fire. She's scared, I can see it in her eyes. She knows something's changed. She knows that she's no longer the one in control. And for the first time, I let myself feel it. That power, that slow, simmering power that rises without a word, without a gesture, without even trying. I don't need to make a scene. I don't need to remind her of what she's done. I don't need to prove anything to her. But the quiet, subtle satisfaction of knowing she's uncomfortable, of knowing that she's starting to realize who I really am, is more than enough. The night wears on, and with every word she speaks, I feel her unravel just a little more. She's not used to being the one who's uncertain, the one who's afraid to move. And every time she looks at me, I know she's measuring me, wondering just how much control I have in this space. But I don't let her see the full extent of it. I don't give it to her. Not yet. The conversation around me continues, soft laughter, murmured words, but none of it matters. Not now. I'm watching her face shift with every passing moment, each smile more strained than the last. She's growing more rigid, more aware of the space between us, but she won't ask about it. She won't name it, and I won't either. Her mother's voice cuts through the noise as she approaches, her high heels clicking against the marble floor. She smiles at me, but it's a practiced, polite smile, a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. I nod in response, acknowledging her, but I don't engage. I don't need to. Back. I can feel the weight of her discomfort, too. They're all watching me now, watching us, and none of them know what to do with the quiet power that's filling this room. I take a slow step toward the open window, letting the cool night air brush against my skin. The room behind me feels warmer, heavier, but out here, it's different. The city lights twinkle in the distance, their soft glow a reminder of how far I've come, how far I've built. I didn't get here by being loud, by demanding attention. I got here by knowing when to wait, when to let the world think they're still in control. I hear footsteps behind me. The bride's fiancé, my brother, approaches slowly. He doesn't say anything right away, but I know what he's thinking. He can feel the tension too, the way the air has shifted. He looks at me, but his eyes don't quite meet mine. He's nervous, unsure. I can feel his hesitation, the uncertainty in his stance. I know this is a lot for you, he says quietly, his voice barely audible over the hum of the city below. But it's a big day for everyone. I just don't want you to feel left out. I almost laugh. Left out? I've never felt more in control. But I don't say that. I don't say anything at all. Instead, I turn back toward him, my eyes meeting his for the first time in what feels like forever. You don't need to worry about me, I say softly. I'm fine. Okay. His brow furrows, and I can see the confusion in his eyes. He's still trying to figure out what happened between us, still trying to place me in a world that I no longer fit into. And I let him try. I'm not going to explain myself to him. Not now. Okay. The silence stretches between us, and for a moment I wonder if he'll ask more, if he'll press for answers. But he doesn't. He looks down, his shoulders slumping just slightly. He nods, but it's not with conviction. It's more like he's giving up. And I let him. Okay. The music swells inside, but it's a distant sound now. I don't need to be part of it. I don't need to be part of their world anymore. Okay? I turn back to the window, the cool breeze on my face, my fingers brushing the edge of the sill. It's quiet out here, and for the first time tonight I feel at peace. Her control is slipping, and I'm the one who holds the key. The night continues on, but I know it won't be the same. Not for her, not for anyone. And as I stand there, alone in the quiet, I know that everything is about to change. The chatter of the room swirls around me, the laughter and clinking of glasses, a constant hum. The soft light of the chandeliers bathes everything in a warm glow, but I feel the weight of the room pressing down on me. The smooth floors beneath my feet, the golden table settings, the perfectly arranged flowers, they're all designed for one thing, to impress. And to them, I'm just another guest, invisible in the background. I watch the bride's family, standing in a small circle near the bar, their laughter loud and confident. They stand like they own the room, their voices carrying, as if they're speaking to everyone, and no one at the same time. There's a sharpness in their words, an edge they don't try to hide. The conversation shifts. I hear the name of my hotel mentioned, a place I've poured my heart into, my soul. The pride in it is mine, but they don't know that. I've never told them. I never needed to. Cabas Upperty Fog. Have you seen the new venue on the edge of town? One of the groom's relatives asks, his voice casual, as if it's just another topic of conversation. They say it's something special, you know? Another voice joins in, dismissive, almost condescending. Oh, I heard. It's charming, sure, but not quite up to our standards, you know? I don't need to look at them to know they're talking about my hotel. I can feel their eyes on me, the subtle judgment in their tone. They don't think I belong in this space. They think my place is beneath them. And in that moment, I know exactly what I need to do. I keep my face still, my hand resting lightly on the glass of wine in front of me. The clinking of the band's instruments in the background fades into the noise. Everything around me grows quieter, quieter still as the seconds stretch on, almost as if the room knows what's coming. I smile, a slow, deliberate smile, one that doesn't show my teeth. But it's enough. The weight of their words settles around me, and I feel a calmness wash over me. It's time. I stand up slowly, my chair scraping softly against the floor, the noise just loud enough to draw a few glances. Their conversations don't stop immediately, but the movement in the room shifts. I clear my throat just once. The band pauses, sensing the change. The room falls quieter. It's like everything slows, like time bends for a moment. The guests notice it too, their attention gradually pulling away from the conversation, their eyes flickering toward me. I stand tall, my fingers smoothing the edges of my dress, the weight of silence pressing in around me. I glance at the bride's family, her father's eyes flicking to me with a faint hint of confusion. They don't know what's happening, not yet. They think I'm just another face in the crowd. I let the quiet fill the space for a moment longer, and then I speak. My voice, low and steady, carries through the room. Ekact. I'm sure you've all heard the name of the venue you've been enjoying tonight, I say, and I let my words hang for just a beat too long. It's mine. The gasps fill the room like a sudden draft, sweeping through the guests, catching them off guard. They stare at me, their eyes wide, like they can't quite process what I've just said. The words don't seem to fit with the image they have of me, the quiet country girl in the corner, the one who's been ignored all night. The bride's mother's lips part, but no sound comes out. She looks at me, her face still, as if the world has tilted just slightly, but she's not sure how to write it. The bride, too, is still standing there, her mouth frozen in a smile, though it falters just slightly as she registers what I've said. I can see the shift in her eyes, the flicker of realization. She's never seen me this way, and I know it unsettles her. The guests murmur, their voices rising in disbelief, but I let the room remain in that moment of suspended breath. I don't need to explain further. The truth is there, in the open. They're all looking at me now, trying to piece together who I really am. I don't need to say anything more. The words have done their work. The room feels different now, quieter in a way I didn't expect. There's a new tension in the air, one that feels almost tangible. The shift has happened, and it's done. They'll never see me the same way again. I take another step forward, my eyes scanning the crowd. They're all still looking at me, but I don't feel the need to rush. I don't need to make any more moves. The power has shifted, and they'll have to reckon with it. The bride's father's expression is harder to read now, the lines on his face tightening. The air around him is thick with his discomfort, and I watch as he tries to reassemble his posture, to regain the control he thought he had. But it's gone. That easy assumption, that invisible line that separated us, it's broken now. I let the silence hold for a little longer before I return to my seat, my eyes meeting his for a brief moment. It's enough, there's nothing more to be said. The laughter and conversation slowly return to their usual rhythm. But it's not the same. Not anymore. The shift is there in line. The shift is there, invisible but powerful. The guests begin to murmur again, this time about the real owner of the venue, their minds scrambling to reconcile the story they thought they knew. I take a slow sip from my glass, watching the bride as she stands stiffly in the center of the room, trying to regain her composure. She's no longer the centerpiece, no longer the queen of this evening. The power has moved quietly beneath the surface, where they can't see it but can feel it. Tum. And as I sit back, I realize something. They'll never know just how much control I hold over this night, over the room. Not yet anyway, but they will. The room goes still. For a brief moment, there is nothing. The music fades into the background. The laughter from earlier now nothing more than a distant hum. My words, simple, quiet, but heavy, hang in the air, settling over everyone like the dust that catches in the light of a late afternoon. The gasps ripple through the crowd, but I don't move, I don't speak, I just stand there, watching. The bride's face pales, the color drains from her cheeks, and I can see the tightening in her jaw. She tries to hide it, tries to keep that smile in place, but it falters, just for a moment. It's subtle, but I see it. I feel it. Her family reacts in unison. The shift in their faces is almost imperceptible, but I notice. The quick glance between her father and mother, the way their eyes dart around the room, avoiding mine. The shock, the realization, it's all there. They thought I was nothing, a nobody. A country girl they could dismiss with a glance, but now they see the room doesn't move, it doesn't breathe. Not yet, there's too much weight in the air. It presses down on everything, filling the space with that quiet tension that makes everything feel like it's teetering on the edge. I stand still, my hands folded in front of me. The guests around me shuffle, their discomfort palpable, but none of them speak. None of them ask the question that's hanging in the air. How much did you really know? I let the silence stretch, feeling the weight of it in my bones. They're absorbing it, the fact that the very space they've spent hours praising is mine, that I am the one who controls it, that I am the one who has quietly been pulling the strings. It doesn't need to be louder than this. This quiet realization is all I need. Her father shifts in his seat, his posture stiffening, the mask of control slipping slightly. He looks at me, then looks away, his eyes dark with something that feels like regret, but not quite. They didn't expect this. I can see it in the way they glance at each other, the subtle discomfort in their faces. I've watched them all night, listened to their whispers, their thinly veiled remarks. They thought I was beneath them. They thought I was small, insignificant. But tonight they've learned that nothing about me is small. And I don't need to prove it to them, not with words, not with anything. I simply stand there. The bride's face, once so confident, now looks uncertain, a crack running through the porcelain of her perfect exterior. She looks down at her glass, her fingers curling around it like she's trying to hold on to something. But there's nothing to hold on to anymore. She's lost her grip. The power she thought she had is slipping through her fingers. I wait. I don't hurry. I watch them. I watch her. Yeah, they thought this was just a party. They thought this was just another night where they could laugh, smile, and pretend they had it all figured out. But this room, this space, it's mine, and now they have to reckon with it. Her family begins to murmur, their voices low, uncertain. The bride's father leans in to speak to her mother, his voice so quiet I can barely hear it. I don't need to hear the words. I can read it in their faces. The shock, the embarrassment, the beginning of something they don't know how to fix. I don't move. I don't show them that I feel anything at all. I don't need to. The satisfaction of watching them realize what they've been blind to is more than enough. The power in this moment is in the stillness, in the quiet certainty I carry with me. They thought they knew the game. They thought I was a pawn, but I'm the one holding the board. And as they start to realize, I feel something settle inside me, not triumph, not anger, just quiet peace. As quiet peace. Peace in knowing that everything has shifted, and they don't even know how to start putting the pieces back together. It's fine, I say, my voice quiet, unbothered. But the truth is, I don't need her apology. What? Panbicht. I don't need anything from her or her family. The words are simple, but they carry weight. I let them settle between us, letting her absorb them in the same way she's absorbed everything else. She's still trying to put me in a box, trying to make me fit into the mold she's decided for me. But I don't fit. I never have. Her lips press together, and I see the frustration flicker in her eyes. She's trying to control this moment, trying to steer it back into the territory where she can feel comfortable. She's not used to this, not used to seeing me stand tall, to see that I'm no longer the girl she can dismiss. The caddy Pursel Erdikishan and on Tever Kan the Burr Aversion. I don't need her apology. I don't need any of it. What I have, what I've built, speaks for itself. For a moment, there's nothing but the sound of the wind brushing through the trees and the faint hum of voices from inside. The guests are still celebrating, still caught up in their little world. But out here, on the balcony, it's just the two of us. Two people standing on opposite sides of a divide neither of us can close. I know what she sees in me, even now. She sees the girl who's supposed to stay small, who's supposed to stay in the corner, unnoticed. She sees the girl she could once mock, who she thought would always play along with their little games. But she's wrong, and I can see the confusion in her face as she tries to reconcile the now person she thought I was with the person standing in front of her now. I glance over at her again, her eyes still not meeting mine. Her hand tightens around her clutch, and I notice the faint tremble in her fingers. She's uncomfortable. She's scared. I take another breath, slow and deep. The calmness of the night wraps around me, filling the empty space between us. It's not about the apology, I say softly, letting the weight of my words settle. It's about the fact that you never saw me. You never saw who I really am. I feel the shift in her posture then. It's almost imperceptible, but I see it, the way she shifts her weight, the way her breath catches in her throat. She's realizing it now, realizing that everything she thought she knew about me is wrong. The silence that follows is heavy, thick with everything we've never said. There's no need for confrontation. There's no need for more words. She's already understood. I don't wait for her to respond. I don't need to. Instead, I turn back toward the view, the lights of the city stretching out before me. The party goes on behind me, but the world feels quieter now. I've already won. Not in the way they might expect, but in the way that matters. I've shown them the power of silence, the power of knowing when to hold your ground, when to let them believe they're in control, all while watching the truth unfold in front of them. I step back toward the door, but before I go inside, I glance at her once more. She's still standing there, her eyes trained on the ground, the weight of everything I've said finally sinking in. She still doesn't fully understand, she never will, but that's not my problem anymore. I walk back into the ballroom, my steps slow, deliberate. The music swells again, the laughter returns, but there's a new tension in the air now, one they won't be able to ignore. And as I move back into the crowd, I feel it, that quiet power, the kind that doesn't need to shout, that doesn't need to be seen. It's mine, and it always has been. The night moves on, but I know it's changed. And for the first time, I feel the weight of the truth settle inside me. This time, I'm the one they'll remember. The music swells, its final note floating through the room like the last breath of the evening. The sound fades and lingers, and for a moment, everything seems to hold still. The guests have begun to trickle out, their voices quieter now, their steps slower, as if the night is gradually slipping away. The laughter has lost its sharpness. The clink of glasses no longer punctuates the air with the same force. Everything seems to be winding down, coming to a gentle end. I sit at the edge of the ballroom, my fingers resting lightly on the edge of the table. I don't move, I don't need to. The world is shifting around me, but I'm still watching. The bride and my brother stand in the center of the room, their bodies close but not quite touching. They sway to the soft melody that plays in the background, a final dance. Her white dress catches the light, but it's no longer the pristine vision it was when the night began. Now it looks heavy, weighed down by the hours that have passed. Her shoulders are stiff, her movements a little too deliberate, a little too cautious. I watch as she looks up at him, her eyes flickering around the room before quickly landing back on his face. There's no joy there now, no ease in her smile. There's only tension. I sip my drink slowly, watching, feeling the silence grow louder around me. She's different now. The confidence that once radiated from her, the unspoken dominance she held in the room, is gone. She's no longer the confident bride who walked in earlier. She's unsure now. Her eyes dart across the room, as if she's looking for an escape, but she's trapped in this moment, this night. Her gaze flicks over to me once, but quickly averts, her smile faltering. I don't move. I stay in my seat, letting the room empty slowly, the music still carrying on in the background, as if the world is holding its breath. They were all so sure, so confident in their assumptions about me, about what I could do. They didn't know the truth, and I let them live in their bubble, never once letting them see behind the facade. Not until now, not until I revealed exactly who I was. And now, here she is, the perfect bride, the perfect image of grace, but all of it is crumbling. I notice the tension in her shoulders, the way she pulls back slightly when my brother moves too close, as if she's uncertain how to position herself, how to act. She's still trying to be that confident woman, but it doesn't fit anymore. Not after everything that's been said, everything that's been revealed. I lean back in my chair, the cool air from the open windows brushing against my skin. The room is quieting down. The people are starting to leave, the noise gradually dying away, but I stay. I watch them, the way they dance, the way they think they still have control over something. But it's gone now. Everything they once assumed about me, about my place here, it's all unraveling in front of them. The bride's eyes dart to me again, catching me watching her. There's a brief flicker of something in her eyes, recognition perhaps. And then just as quickly it's gone, replaced by a tight smile, but it's hollow, I see through it. I always have. The band plays the final notes of the song, the gentle rhythm of the music drifting off into silence. I know it's over now, the final dance, the last piece of the evening before everything fades into memory. I don't need to stay here. I don't need to watch them any longer. My part in this night is done. The pieces have all fallen into place. I stand up slowly, my chair scraping softly against the floor, but no one turns to look at me. They don't even notice. It's like the final act is unfolding without them realizing that it's already happened. I move toward the door, my steps soft against the marble floor. The bride and my brother are still there, their dance still lingering, but the room is emptying now. The guests have begun to trickle out, their voices growing quieter as they move into the night. The world outside is waiting. I glance back one last time, just before I step out into the hallway. The bride and my brother are standing there, still holding on to each other, their movements slow. She doesn't look at me. I don't expect her to. She doesn't need to. I've already done what I came here to do. The truth has been revealed, and there's no going back. I pause in the doorway, just for a second, my fingers resting against the frame. The night still carries its weight, but it feels lighter now, quieter. The music, the laughter, the tension, it all fades away in my mind. I know they won't see me the same way again. I know they can't. For a moment, it's just me. Just the quiet of the hallway. Just the soft breath of the world outside. Okay? And then I step out into the cool night air. The stars above me are bright, but I don't need to look at them. I've already seen everything I need to see. What happens now? I don't know. But for tonight, at least I've won.